Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, we kind of figured this was coming, been paying attention to it a while, and we've been talking about it for a couple of years. But is the dollar collapsing? I mean, versus the rest of the currencies around the world, everybody'd say, no, it's holding pretty steady. You know, the dollar index is up in that 102 point something, whatever. But if you start looking at alternative currencies, let's look at it that way, that's where the money flows are going. Gold is pushing $2,200 an ounce. And mind you, this was a couple of months ago that we broke $2,000 a month for the first time ever. And everybody's like, oh, that's going to be, as far as it's going to go, I've got to get out. We're up 10% from there, guys. Okay. To give you this, in a couple of months, gold going up 10%, that's a historical average for what the stock market does in a year. And gold's done it in a couple of months. Okay. People are flocking into gold. Silver, same way. Silver's pushing $25 an ounce. It wasn't that long ago that we were seeing silver at $22 an ounce. Okay. That's up, 12, 13%. Same issue. Even though you guys know I am absolutely not a fan whatsoever of Bitcoin, Bitcoin hit $72,000 a coin. That's an all-time high. Gold's hitting all-time highs. Bitcoin's hitting all-time highs. Silver's halfway, okay, just because of what happened in the 80s. But alternative money is where people around the world and countries are going. To give you this, okay, 1,000 tons of gold was bought by central banks of countries around the world last year. That's about a quarter of all the gold that is mined in a year. All right, that's a lot. And the thing is this, it's not like they're selling it or day trading it or anything like that. They're putting it away because they see that fiat currency is collapsing and they want something that's a hard asset. Countries, companies, people are converting their wealth into alternative assets, hard assets like gold and silver, or digital assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum or one of the other thousands of types of crypto. That's the future. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. I mean, what was it? Just a couple of weeks ago that we heard that the United States is adding $1 trillion to the national debt every 100 days between reckless spending by the Democrats, and the Republicans are voting for it, okay, or just the interest that's going on. It gets to a point where money's worthless. I mean, we all know that Washington just considers the dollar monopoly money anyway. They don't care. It's like, oh, go buy this, go buy this, go buy this. We don't have enough money. Not print more. Who cares? Right? I mean, this is it. Wouldn't you like to be able to do that? Go in your basement and print out some money and go, hey, you know what? We need to buy a new car, honey. We can't afford it. Just run downstairs and print out $40,000 or $50,000 real quick, and then we can go buy a new car. I mean, that's literally what the government's doing. So it's getting to the point where the dollar is on a rapid descent to worthlessness. Now, you're going to need some sort of means of exchange in an economic collapse. And those that hold alternative assets are at least going to be able to buy something. And we can talk about any fictional story we want that we always talk about 1 second after or something like that. But you can go read a lot of these books, and the common concept is that gold and silver is what's going to turn into currency, because it's a hard currency. It's actually something that you can hold. It actually has value because we agree that it does. Okay, and you need to understand something here. Gold and silver have been money practically since the beginning of time. Okay, Bitcoin, say, for the last 10 years, 20 years maybe. Okay, I'm not exactly sure when Bitcoin started at its 0.001, and I know we all wish we could have gone and bought some when it was 4 cents a coin or something like that. You'd be billionaires yourself by now. But the only reason any of that stuff has any value is because society agrees it does. The only reason the dollar has any value is because society agrees it does. All it is it's a piece of, I'll say paper. You guys know it's not actually paper, but the only reason it has any sort of value is because we have all collectively agreed, I'll give you this piece of paper, you give me that can of beans. Well, when consumer confidence, which Biden thought was up, but like I told you the other day was down, when consumer confidence in the currency is down and nobody wants it, it becomes worthless. Now, you can talk about the spending of said alternative currencies, okay? And we've heard stories over the last couple of years where states, certain ones, have made gold and silver a acceptable currency, a legal tender to purchase goods and services. Yes, you can purchase things with Bitcoin as well. Okay. Good luck finding somewhere that does, but okay. Not a whole lot of places. But even then, there's no way in the world you're going to hear me say, hey, if you bought it last year, 20 months ago at $16,000 and you're holding it at 72, you made a mistake. You took on a boatload of risk to do it, but you came out a winner. No problem. And kudos to everybody who did. I'll personally never buy Bitcoin in my life. I don't believe in imaginary money. But people have made a lot of money. Should they convert it to dollars right now? Maybe. Okay. I mean, the last time Bitcoin got up in this range, it was 66,000 or something. Then it collapsed back down into the teens, and people lost 75% of what they had. Are those people going, fool me once, and they sell out now? Maybe. Okay. Maybe it does go to 500,000. Is it a risk I'm willing to take? No. Okay. Maybe if I was 22 years old, I'd take a little bit of risk because I had plenty of time in my life to make it back. But I'm certainly not going to go, hey, fear of missing out, let me go buy some Bitcoin at 72,000. I didn't really like it at 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, but God, now that it's at 70, now I need to buy it. No. Okay. Hey, I was smart enough to buy gold and silver. I've got the gold and silver. I'm happy. Okay. It's like anybody going, gee, I should have bought Amazon in 2001 or whenever it went public somewhere. Sure. Did you? No. Okay. Could you have bought it later on down the road? Yeah. Okay. But then how many people thought, hey, you know what? I'll buy AOL when it went to the top. And it never came back. Okay. These are the things. Sure, in a barter situation down the road, you may be trading beans for bullets. I wouldn't suggest trading either one of those, but you may be stuck doing it. But watch carefully what happens, because when the government goes broke, which we're accelerating quickly, like I said, $1 trillion in debt every 100 days, and it's insane. Okay. Just write down $1 trillion and realize how long of a number that is. When the government goes broke, what are they going to do? You think they'll try another 1930s, we're seizing all the gold? We're seizing all the Bitcoin? They might. Okay. But that's another thing. an economic collapse will certainly lead us to an overthrow of our government. People are patient right now. They're pissed, but they're still patient, going, okay, we'll have an election, we'll change out politicians, and things can be fixed. Eventually, things can't be fixed. Personally, I think we passed that time, that a while back. We're just imagining it right now. But when everything completely falls apart, beans, bullets, and band-aids, and bullion, and maybe even we add Bitcoin in there, are going to be the only thing worthwhile. But if there's no electricity, not only is the dollar worthless, so is your Bitcoin. Pinball out.